After exploring the history of the Israel-Palestine conflict, what are the potential solutions to finally ending the occupation?
So, what is the two-state solution? Basically, it's a continuation of the United Nations' first resolution to the conflict. For decades, though, this solution has failed to provide the settlement Palestinians were promised. The plan, that has been enshrined in international law by multiple UN resolutions, uses the 1949 armistice lines as the basis of the borders of a new Palestinian state. The plan also sets East Jerusalem aside as the future capital of the Palestinian state and makes provisions for the right of return for all refugees who fled Palestine during the Nakba. Although this plan has been mooted for decades, it has consistently failed to materialise. One Israeli vision of a one-state future calls for the full annexation of the West Bank and the establishment of Bantustan states for the Palestinian citizens remaining under Israel's control.
The two-state solution is dead.
Okay. So what is left?
Two-state solution. What we left is one-state solution with the Arabs here as not as full citizenship, because full citizenship can lead them to vote to the Knesset.
Far-right Israeli politician Naftali Bennett declared that after Donald Trump's election victory, the era of the future Palestinian state was over. Bennett's model would deny Palestinians the right to vote for their own political leaders and subject them to full political and military control by Israel. If this model sounds familiar to you, it's because it is. It existed in South Africa and it was called apartheid. It is considered a crime against humanity under international law. The word apartheid is, of course, a contentious issue in Israel. Currently, Palestinian citizens with Israeli citizenship are allowed to vote for their own representatives in the Knesset. African citizens living under South African apartheid were not afforded this right. However, Israel maintains military control over the West Bank and the Gaza Strip, and the Israeli government continues to expand settlements in the occupied Palestinian territories. This allows Israeli citizens to live on occupied land, therefore making the Palestinians still living there second-class citizens within their own land. A recent UNESCO report, which caused some controversy, accused Israel of already being an apartheid and racial state because of this system of governance. Multiple Israeli prime ministers, such as Ehud Barak and Ehud Olmert, have warned explicitly that an apartheid-like state would be unsustainable and would lead to a binational state. So, what is a binational state, and why do many Israeli politicians object to it? This solution is favoured by many Palestinian civil rights activists. The solution would create a binational state, or a state in which every citizen in the land of historic Palestine is given equal rights under law and the right to vote. In other words, a one-man, one-vote system. Why does the idea of a full democracy with equal rights for both people terrify the Israeli government so much? It comes down to a question of demographics and nationalism. Israel's total Jewish population is roughly 6.3 million. The combined Palestinian population living within Israel and the occupied Palestinian territories is 6.2 million. Therefore, if Palestinians were granted the right to vote, Israel's Jewish population would make up only 50%. This would go against those who maintain Israel's right to remain a Jewish state, even if that equates to abandoning democracy and legally enforcing demographic changes. An example of this can be seen in Israel's return policy, which allows any person with Jewish heritage to permanently emigrate to Israel, but forbids Palestinian refugees from their internationally recognized right to return. So there we have it. There are only really two solutions to this conflict that do not violate international human rights law. There are several reasons the two-state solution has failed to materialize, with illegal settlements being the most pressing issue, but also including the right of return for refugees and the final status of Jerusalem. However, with settlements continuing to expand and time running out on a potential two-state solution, the concept of a binational state is starting to gain more traction. Ultimately, though, as international law is flouted repeatedly in the region, it seems a just settlement for the Israel-Palestine conflict is further away now than it ever has been before.